Hello, welcome to week 7. So, as we get closer to the end of the course, my hope is a few things. One is that you're feeling more comfortable using Mural because this week we actually want to share out more of what I'd call our imagery. Actually, so we're going to do some things in Figma and then share those out so that people can look at the way we've ordered things. We're Also, I just changed the due date for this assignment. Pushed it 1 week, so let you know that was just a mistake. Sometimes when the courses carry over, the dates get messed up. So the reason why we're doing 3 weeks for this assignment is just historically I found that there's a lot of ground to cover in terms of how you present an information architecture to stakeholders or general, not necessarily general people, but to get feedback on your work. So right now you're all are reacting pretty nicely, I think, to sitemaps as a way to understand how someone's organized something. So that's working out really well. I want to say with the amount of students in the course, there's quite a few. Anything you do that is helping others is really helpful to me, and I think it's the reason why we're all here. I will let you know that there's really no reason to feel too protective about your work. It's all going to be a work in progress. It should all need feedback, and communication is our goal here. So understanding what other people are perceiving is critical to that. And if you're not 100% confident about your skills in any kind of a tool, you could either let me know. I know in Figma we're going to be wireframing fairly soon, which is a way of demonstrating something that's going to actually happen this week. So I can give you a couple tips on that, as well as there's plenty of tips in the module itself about how and why are we using this level of fidelity and what's it meant to do. So with that being said, let me give a quick overview of what happened this week. First of all, really nice work on finding navigation patterns, and guess what? So last week we were talking about taxonomies, which could be vast. Actually, you're probably learning now that you might need higher level taxonomies, such as like genre, subgenre, genre and subgenre are as a popular concept, right? To help someone browse your information, and that is the real goal here, to have someone browse through your database and find things of value. I'll just say it one more time. The goal is to browse. So many of us are used to searching. Just to let you know, searching is fine if you're on Google, and it's not great anywhere else. Maybe Amazon. I don't know. The idea of searching is you have to know that the source actually can help and has information about your topic. So if you go back all the way to Twitter, the reason why we explored Twitter is there's probably information about just about everything ever on Twitter because it's such a vast database. It's also not fun to browse. So, yeah, sorry, Elon. You need to follow people. You need to actually curate things. There's a lot of work that you need to do to actually make Twitter useful, and most people don't want to go to that much trouble. It's the same as with things like Facebook, etc. Like you need to have some value proposition to be able to browse. Now, you're doing the same for your data, and you're going to find it challenging, just letting you know. But the reason why we discovered and looked at all these different kinds of navigation patterns is because when you go from nouns to verbs, verbs is the way to get around. And you are very, very much constrained by the size and the placement. So each of these is a thing that people have invented over the years to help try to make this an easier task across all of the web. Top navigation, side navigation, cards, all these different techniques are just ways to be able to present information in a browsable way. And that's what we're going to use, and you will probably use a couple or two or three of these. So please make sure that you are referencing these as you go into the next round, which is to try to demonstrate your sitemap in a visual. So the sitemaps themselves, I think they all worked out quite nicely. There's a variety of different feedback you gave to each other about things you could add, things you could move. One thing I want to be caution you about is making your sitemap doesn't necessarily have to reflect exactly all of your data fields. It should be more about the bigger picture, and I'll just keep reiterating, like higher and higher level organizations are needed And then lower things might be what we call a filter, such as, well, we're going to get to filtering this week. I just don't want to see things like this or that. eBay, by the way, is a pretty good example. If you've ever searched for something like a shirt on eBay, you'll get a list of things like, do you want a men's shirt or a woman's shirt? Do you want, what size do you want? What kind of color do you want? So those are sort of more filtering concepts rather than navigation concepts such as shirt, pants. So that is something we want to cement and demonstrate this week. I think that's just about it. Yeah, that was fun. So let's go on to our next topic, which is going to be wireframing. Okay. So this week, this technique, wireframing, is just a way to demonstrate and to show your ideas to somebody as a kind of a faux web page. And so what I want you to do is to draw a detail page, and that is a part of your sitemap. It will represent some of your sitemap, such as top level navigation should be available, and you're gonna in your mind choose one of those, and then by choosing one of those, you're going to then have that ability to show some sort of secondary filtering, for example. And then you're going to show, actually, we're finally going to show it, the HTML you wrote to show 1 record or 3 records. You're going to demonstrate what does that actually look like. I'll pause there. So remember, we were just marking up with headers and groupings. Now you get to visualize that HTML. So please go back and look at it. I will try to make sure, and I will just let you guys know that it will be interesting because you might find things easier to arrange visually than you did in HTML, but they actually are doing and meaning the same thing. So please especially pay attention to your groups, pay attention to your headers, and you're going to illustrate this week, what were we saying, 3 of those records. 3 is fine, you can do more if you wish. But really we're trying to say, put those 3 records in the context of a page. And that page is going to have navigation on it. Should make perfect sense. And then we're going to wrap next week by showing how you interact with it. So that's why a tool like Figma is helpful, because you might copy and paste a lot next week, and that's easier to do than drawing it 5 or 6 times. But this week it's only 1. It's 1 record, 1 of the choices. I might recommend one of the more interesting choices. For example, one of your more experimental navigation concepts would be a good place to illustrate rather than one of the more factual ones, since I could probably guess what would happen, but you never know. You're welcome to try anything. And what I'd like you to do is actually export and post a picture here. And if you don't know how to do that, please let me know, or I can do another quick little demo, which maybe I could even do right now. I don't have something teed up right now, but if you need it, I'm happy to add that. Just add a comment here saying I'd like to show how to export a picture. You just select it usually, and then over in the left there's an export menu, and then you just drag the picture over here. Make sure to resize it so we can fit all these nice pictures, but we're going to be looking at the first example. Oh yeah, here's a couple of examples, by the way. Here's one done as a drawing that I did, focusing on the text and the navigation. There's also here's another one that actually uses a data plugins. By the way, you're welcome to do this. There is a set of plugins in Figma that will take data and then it'll just repeat it for you. It's really super cool. It probably is a little bit beyond of what we need this week, but it is cool. Yeah, and then there's they're just a ways to integrate databases into your Figma designs. It's very important if you have not done that before. Data-oriented design can be very tedious if you're cutting and pasting a lot. And that tedium or that repetition, all that stuff is now coming hopefully to bear that, hey, you're making a lot of decisions early. You want to be really careful about the things that you choose because you're going to repeat it millions and millions of times. And lastly, there is one real interesting thing that you might get to this week, which is sort order. I'm not going to spoil it, but I might mention it a few times when I see your examples. So just saying sort order is really interesting to know. Hey, if I select this and this, what is the first thing that appears on the page? And the reason why it's interesting is Google pretty much made trillions of dollars based on sort order. The thing that they do, the top 10, should be the only things you need to answer the question. And that seeing things at the top of the page is really critical. You might not know what your sort order is, so it is something interesting to think about, I think. And that's this week. And good luck to every. Oh, another thing, very big hint. So I'm going to say there's a big hint. All of your designs at this point, if you're not too confident or comfortable in some of these visualization techniques, look to others who are more confident and comfortable, because I will tell you there's probably, even though you are working on different databases, you're all working separately, this week you'll probably all come together to realize that everything you all are doing should look and feel similar. I know that's odd, but I will say, unless we're not going to be doing mobile this week, we're going to do a desktop version just to give you guys a little bit more room to work with, because working in mobile is tough. But your patterns and such should be similar. So if you aren't confident, look at someone else's work, or look at most websites that were shared last week. You'll probably see patterns that you're able to leverage. And please do so, because there isn't really a lot of benefit to originality in the web. People actually like consistency more than originality when it comes to the way things are presented. And also, people like focus more than choices. So giving them better choices is actually a big goal of this week too, rather than every choice, such as if you found that there might have been like for books, that there's a ton of different subgenres, you actually want to reduce the amount reasonably so that people find things. And I know these are all challenges, but think from the minute you started here, we really worked with words. How do you use words in a systematic way to bring meaning to data? So I think it's powerful, and hope you enjoy the experience this week.